Welcome to Sunday School. I can't believe the week has just sped past us. The month has sped fast. The year has sped right past us. But anyway, last night, Rabbi Lamed ben Clifford appeared to me in a dream. And he said, "Buck," he always calls me Buck. I don't know why. I think he thinks I'm someone else. He said, "When you dress in the morning, put your left sock on first. But when you put your shoes on, put your right shoe on first." Think on this. And then he said, oh, by the way, tomorrow for Sunday school, talk about the divided name and try to explain to them that the games Kabbalists play are intended only for them to eventually have one flash of illumination. I should just end it right there. Actually, he didn't. I think when he called me Buck, he was talking to somebody else. He wanted to be in someone else's dream. But that second part, I think he meant for me. Now, in the book, The Chicken Kabbalah, toward the end of the book, where the rabbi is explaining the games Kabbalists play, gematria with numbers and Demura and Notericon, all those games Kabbalists play, they're fun to play. They're addicting, and if you don't mind using the Holy Hebrew Scriptures as a foundation of things that you're dissecting with your games that Kabbalists play, it can really be fun, and it's just full of synchronicities and stuff. You can figure out your name and that your number comes to the same number as this or that, and that your address is actually found on the tree of life and things like that. And it's lots of fun, okay? And it's addicting in a way. The big example is this Shem Hamaforash, or the divided name of God. And let me see if I can find a thing here. Yeah. There's the big name in Kabbalah, Yod He Vav He, pronounced Jehovah when it's mispronounced, but everything is a mispronunciation of it. That's a big name. It's the great name, and it's made up of 3 Hebrew letters, and one of them is repeated. So it just opens up this whole idea about 4 is really 3 if you wake up. The whole idea of Yod He Vav He is that's the supreme word when you can form everything into a word. Now, Yod He Vav He, the letters enumerate to 26, and 26 has all sorts of wonderful meanings to it. It's 2 times 13, and 13 is among other words, is the word for love and the word for one. So the idea that 2 of the 13s intimates that the one has somehow broken itself up into a duality. But when put together to make 26 is this transcendent unity. Well, the Kabbalists weren't satisfied with just that, so they wanted to put it under a microscope more. So they put the Yod and the Yod He and the Yod He Vav and the Yod He Vav He into a tetratrix thing. They're a Pythagorean toy, and it comes up to 72. And so they figured, whoa, 72 is a new, improved, more detailed, but a little split up form of 26. And they started to search for everything they could find that had 72 in it. And so they turned to the Pentateuch, and they're in Exodus. They found 3 consecutive lines of Hebrew in Exodus that hang on, that were right in a row, and they were very dramatic part of Exodus where Moses was parting the Red Sea and all of that stuff. And they put those letters, I've shown this to you a million times, they put those 3 verses and they snake them around like that. And then in this that red area, they read the letters in columns of 3, and those red letters like that, or that red row anyway, is a really complicated, split up, divided way to say Yod He Vav He. So you'd have to really take a big breath and say, well, the divided name of God is but that would be the divided name of God. Then they created angels out of each of those sections of God, and added an IH or an AEL, which is that white row underneath there. And they made angels who are like the butler, the executor of that particular aspect of deity on earth. Okay, that's very impressive, and it's fun, and it creates angels in your mind. But what it does is not what it creates in your mind, but what it does to your mind when you start to play with these things. And never will there be a Kabbalistic revelation in itself where you finally figure out this number means this and this means that. All of these mini revelations of Kabbalah will never end. They go on forever. Every place is the middle of a circle which never ends. It's not what you learn or what you realize from Kabbalistic games that you play. It's what it does to your mind. Now, the Rabbi at the very end of Chicken Kabbalah, okay, where he's explaining all these games Kabbalists play, gets to that point in print. As you can imagine, there are nearly infinite ways to rearrange the letters so that they, and then he trails off. Rearranging the letters to peel back. Infinite ways. All we can do is rearrange it. It just looks like creation. Sometimes it is so ... We don't really climb the tree of life to get back to Godhead. We just peel back. Peel back. Like Solomon in the nut garden. One membrane peeled back to reveal another and another. The center germ of the nut is invisible, is nothing. Yet it carries the code of all its ancestors and the potential of infinite nuts to come. I am that center germ. Not the shell, not the meat, not the membranes. I am the nothing in the middle. Sometimes it just becomes so very, well, I think I've said enough about Temura, and perhaps I've just said enough now. Please excuse me. You know, dear friends, when all is said and done, it makes no difference how we rearrange or substitute our letters. It makes no difference if one number reveals another number or word or any of it. As long as all this helps us make the final connection. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what we've done, only that we did. Every letter, every number, every word, every image, every concept, every thought and component of thought is at once the loving creator, offspring, and destroyer of every other letter, number, every other word, every other image, every other concept, every other thought and component of thought. It's really quite lovely, actually. So tidy. Yes, so very tidy. And so very, very smooth. Now, for those of us that know a little bit of the esoteric names of the Sephiroth on the Tree of Life, Kether, number 1, is called the smooth point. That's the one achieving the smooth point. Everything else is the many. And the job is to peel back the many, the divided name, to realize the smooth point. Now, I posted a YouTube sort of video recording of one of my songs called Shem. It's very short. It's only a few seconds long, actually. And it starts off with a quote from Crowley, from the Book of the Law, a quote from Aiwass, I would say. For I am divided for love's sake, for the chance of union. Now, these are the last words of, or the last 72 words of Rabbi Lamed ben Clifford. When you put your shoes on in the morning, no. Excuse me. And it's called The Secret of the Shem Hamaforash, the last 72 written words of Rabbi Lamed ben Clifford. God is. Undivided, God is pure potentiality and realizes nothing. God can only realize itself by becoming many and then experiencing all possibilities through the adventures of its many parts. The ultimate purpose for my existence is to exhaust my individual potentiality. My love for God and God's love for me springs from a great secret we share. The secret is, God and I will achieve supreme enlightenment at the same moment. And that's where we'll leave Sunday school today. I hope you have a good rest of the weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.